Coach, maybe more head coaching jobs this year than any time that I can recall. And with that, obviously, assistant coaches are going to be moving all over the country. You've always said the players are most important in the organization, but after that, it's the assistant coaches. How have you managed assistant coaches?
Yeah, I think the assistant coach is, you expect players to move on. When you have a great coach that you don't worry about the offensive line, you don't worry about the defense line or that recruiting, and the guy walks out the door, that hit me really hard. And we had that happen a lot. When you have success, reality follows. You know what reality is, right? People are going to come get your coaches. Right. And the good thing is you never really left other than to become a head coach. And there's two types of coaches, too. There's ones that are on the fast track to become a head coach. They're driven, and I never had a problem with that. You know, you were a head coach, Gerry, so was I, obviously, and I'm okay with it. I never deflated that, or I never, tried to not hinder that goal. Matter of fact, I tried to help it because that was part of our legacy and responsibility. And then the other assistant coaches just were so focused on doing their job great. So there's two types of coaches, but the reality is the staff is so important.
The Indiana staff is really
Phenomenal.
Interesting. I don't know that I've ever seen a situation like Coach Cignetti's.
Yeah, you have two coordinators, Mike Shanahan and Brian Haynes. They've been with Coach Cignetti 9 years, starting at Indiana University, Pennsylvania. Elon, James Madison, now the number 2 team in America that recently beat Penn State. So the challenge I see and what I understand that Coach Cignetti handles his operation, he's the CEO and he coaches coaches. A lot of pressure on those coordinators, and those coordinators have performed.
Would you say that you were one of the assistant coaches that was driven to be a head coach?
Not early on, not at all. But I had 2 guys push me really hard. Lou Holtz and Earl Bruce said, you need to start thinking about this. So no, early on, not whatsoever. And the one thing, going back to your staff, I think it's important when you start losing coaches. I would start to meet with my coaches as they came in, and I interviewed them and would hire them. And before I would shake the hand of that coach, I'd say, listen, you have a responsibility to this university, and most importantly, these players. I need at least 2 years. We can't have guys leaving after 1 year. It's not fair financially to the university because you're moving these families and all that. It's expensive. And second of all, you can't have a player have 3 different assistant coaches. That's not fair. And one story is we had a great year, and a coach was with me for 1 year. And I won't use the coach's name, but he came in and said, hey, I'm up for this job. And I said, well, no, you're not. You've only been here 1 year. And he said, well, they contacted me. And I said, well, make sure they know that you're not interested. And he goes, what if I am? And I said, well, I'll blackball you. And that's not going to happen. And people said, that's pretty harsh. My commitment is to the players. And that was perfectly clear throughout the whole entire organization. Coaches come behind players. And they came back and apologized. And after 2 years, he did become a head coach. So again, I think you just have to be crystal clear, the hierarchy of a team. And the hierarchy of a team are players, coaches, but they have to work together, obviously.
When you were an assistant coach, did you have mentors?
Oh, yeah. I'm embarrassed to say I had some of the greatest mentors, the ones that helped me along my career were Earl Bruce, the guy that followed Woody Hayes at Ohio State, Lou Holtz, the legendary coach at Notre Dame, a guy named Sonny Lubick, a legendary coach at Colorado State, and Bob Davie. Bob Davie became the head coach at Notre Dame. To this day, we're still very close. But, oh, yeah, I leaned on him real hard.
No doubt you've become a mentor for other coaches.
I love it.
What is the most valuable thing that you share with them?
Yeah, I love it. That's one of the things that I get a lot of calls, a lot of questions about certain situations. Am I ready to become a head coach, or what do I need to work on? And I always tell them that head coaching will follow you. You don't need to follow the head coaches. You don't need to follow that. If you are really good at what you do, they'll come get you. You don't need, I hear about the agents and what about this, what about that. My comment is always, are you the best in the country at what you do? If you are, the head coaching job will follow.